I'm here to disrupt everything the diet and food industry has told you for years. What if you could stop obsessing over food and weight, understand exactly what your body really needs to thrive, all while learning how to feel empowered, confident, and in control? Hey there, I'm Carrie Lapoli, a certified nutritionist, award-winning educator, behavioral specialist, international speaker, and mom of two amazing college-age daughters. I'm here to help you disrupt everything the diet industry has told you about your health and your body. So here's the truth. Sure, what we put in our bodies matters, and it's more than just nutrition. As a nutritionist and a behavioral expert, I'm uniquely qualified to marry both the science of what our bodies need along with how to change your relationship with food, and all while realizing your value. I want to help teach you to reach your health, wellness, and yes, even weight loss goals with powerful conversations, science-backed strategies, and real talk. I'll teach you how to break free from the cycle of dieting, deprivation, and self-sabotage and start truly living. No more temporary fixes here, just sustainable wellness for you, your family, and your future that no one is talking about. You were not put on this earth to find the right diet, so it's time to stop living like you were. Join me each and every week as I share practical advice, a fresh perspective on the power of mindset, and tips that empower you to live your purpose, all while still enjoying the foods you love. And yeah, that even includes carbs. So if you want something different, you have to do something different. Consider me your something different. Welcome to the Diet Disruptors podcast. Well, hey there, Diet Disruptors, and welcome to the last session in our series on time management. Now, I always say that we can't let time manage us. We have to manage time because it is our most precious resource that we can never get back, and throwing it away just seems like such a waste. My dad, I think this is part of the problem with where he ended up with his health before I got my hands on him. But, he would say all the time, like, we can't let any food go to waste. We can't let any food go to waste. And he would, if we didn't finish our plate, he'd finish it, and he'd eat the crusts that we cut off of our sandwiches. And he just had this philosophy that you cannot let food go to waste. Well, we can. We don't just have to, we're not just like a human garbage truck. But I don't really feel that way about food, but I do feel that way about time. We can't just let it go to waste. And people say to me all the time, like, Carrie, how do you have 30 hours in a day? And I'm like, I don't, but I respect time and I use time so that it can help me get to what I say I really want. And that's to be able to make an impact, to serve my purpose, to feel like I have a balance. There's nothing, I think, more important as we're talking about time and why we should be so respectful of it as the concept of that balance. Time can be the cause of so much stress in our lives when we don't feel like we have enough time, when we're constantly working like we're on Chopped, right? Like it's like crazy when they get the baskets and all these like things that are seemingly absolutely inappropriate to be served together, come together for a meal, and they've got like 30 minutes for it, and they're racing against the clock the entire time. And when we're living our life like it's an episode of Chopped, it adds so much stress, so much chaos, so much insecurity, and we can't afford that. As a mom of two girls who are now adults, I think, gosh, the time just flew by so fast. And when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the middle of it, right? When you're a young mom and you've got young kids and it's just, you're trying to work and do all the things, it's just chaos. And I know that while we can't always control our circumstances, we can always control our response. And while time feels like there's never enough of it, we are all being given the same 168 hours in a week. And we have complete control over how we use that time. Now, we may not feel like we have control over it, but at the end of the day, we do. And so my goal for the series has been to give you step by step a strategy, but more importantly, a mindset on how we can truly use time to support our dreams, our goals, our life. And why does a nutritionist focus so much on this? Because it's time that we never feel like we have enough of, and yet time is what we need to be able to reach our health goals. And notice I didn't say weight goals, because if you work to get to your optimal health, you will absolutely get to your optimal weight. But if you work to get to a certain weight, you might absolutely compromise your health. And in order to actually get what we say we want, we really need to move to our optimal health, which takes time. It takes consistency. It takes discipline. And without the right philosophy, mindset, and strategy when it comes to managing our time, we're never going to be able to get to our optimal health. It's synergistic the way our mindsets, time, our why, our body, what it needs, it all works together. And we can't just have one without the other. So as we wrap up this last session, we are digging into what I do every single day. And talk about consistency. We don't have to be perfect in this life. We don't have to be perfect when we are talking about getting healthy. And we certainly know that we aren't perfect in relationships. But the relationship that we have with our own body, with our life, is one that doesn't require us to be perfect, but does require us to be consistent. Trust is what our body wants. It's what our life needs. It's what we need in relationships. And trust is built with positive interactions consistently over time. When we are consistent, we show up differently. We don't have to negotiate as much with ourselves when we know this is who I am. And so who I am is somebody that wakes up early every single day, is somebody that spends time with herself every single day. It's not just what I do, it's who I am. I have tried to see what happens when I don't have a consistent routine in every morning, and it throws off my entire day. Now, for you, you may not feel that quite yet because you aren't necessarily consistent in showing up for yourself for morning time every single day. And therefore, whether you have morning time, there's chaos. Whether you don't have morning time, there's chaos. We need to be working to build that trust between our heart, our body, and what we do. And the only way to do that is to do something consistently over time. Now, there's lots of different theories out there about how long does it take to actually make something a habit. I will say that it's when you're really working to have discipline and consistency, it's an ongoing journey. It's never going to be fully automatic because the brain, the heart, the body wants comfortable. It doesn't want to have to actually overexert itself. We have to push ourselves to do that. And you will always have to push yourself to show up in some way, shape, or form. But holy heck, it's a lot easier when you start your day off strong. Today's episode is brought to you by Be Rooted In, a magnesium lotion that also has essential oils in it. And if you are like me, you are going to need it as part of your daily routine because it is that luxurious and that beneficial. Magnesium is actually a mineral that most of us need. And if we're taking a capsule, I hate to tell you, but it's probably not doing what you think it is. When I first talked to my functional nutritionist, she had told me magnesium lotion is the way to go. And I could not find any on the market that weren't greasy or that had ingredients that I felt good about actually absorbing into my skin. And then I met Natalie. I love that she is a fellow female entrepreneur, but Natalie has wrapped her mind, her heart, and her soul all around the benefits of magnesium and why we need it so much. Sleep, stress, pain, so many different functions in our body rely on us having high levels of magnesium. And magnesium lotion is such an amazing way to be able to have it. Her products, which help with sleep or pain or tranquility, because of the essential oils in it and because of the high amount of magnesium,
It is an absolutely essential part of my daily routine, and I can't wait for you to try it as well. If you go to my website, carrielupoli.com, go check out my favorite products. Click on the link for magnesium lotion, and I have a special code for you too to be able to get 20% off your first order.
So, morning time to me is the most important time of the day. In fact, it's so important to me that I have dedicated my morning time to helping you. So, if you don't follow me already on Instagram, make sure you do. Carrie_Lupoli. I go live every single day. Typically, it's at 6:45 in the morning Eastern time, but life is never always consistent. So if you miss it because I wasn't able to be there at that exact time, you could always go back and watch it. And there are three things that I talk about every single time I show up for morning time that I do. And I encourage you to make this your own. And based on how much time you have, you may need to adjust, but you don't these three elements that I'm going to talk about that should be a part of your morning time. I have been studying for over 2 decades. Time I have been so respectful of, but a student of as well. And morning time, as I really started to understand the power behind it, that this routine grounds me and allows me to be able to show up throughout the day in a way that does not exist if I do not have morning time. And there are three pieces to morning time that we all have to do that I'm just convicted. But before we really get into what those three are, I want to just show you very clearly the idea of what happens when you don't show up consistently for yourself. So in the house I lived in before the one I live in now, we had a pool, and every summer I would put the cushions out on the pool. And there was always this one bird that pooped on the same cushion every single day, every day without fail. Whenever the cushions were there, the bird would poop. And so every morning I'd have to get up and I have microfiber and I'd wet it and I'd go and wipe it down. And it was fine. It was annoying, but like it it was fine as long as I did it every day. But the next day he pooped on it again. Now, if there was times I went away or I just sort of forgot, I didn't do it, the bird poop would add up. And whenever that would happen, oh my gosh, it was so gross. It was so nasty. And I'd have to like spend extra time cleaning it up and it didn't totally get clean. And it was just nasty. And I tell you that because I want you to think about your day. During the day, it's kind of like bird poop. Throughout the day, things happen to you. Chaos ensues. You don't get everything done you need to get done. The kids get sick. You get sick. Your boss is a jerk. You name it, stuff happens. It's bird poop all day long. And every single morning when I wake up, I essentially clean the bird poop off of the day before. And I allow myself to have a fresh cushion to be able to land on. And the next day, I do it again and again. Because if I don't show up every morning and do these three things that I'm going to show you, the bird poop's going to add up. And you're going to be under a pile of you know what, wondering how you got here and wondering how you're going to get out of it. And the easiest, most effective thing you can do is to show up, even if you have literally 7 minutes. You can do this and you will see the absolute insane benefits of it. So, what are the three things that you're going to do every single morning to clean the bird poop off? Well, the first thing that I highly suggest is that you get grounded in something bigger than yourself. I am a woman of faith. And so for me, that is God. That is, as a Christian woman, I get myself into a devotional. I read the Word of God and I spend time praying and reflecting. I know that it is so important for us to get out of our own heads. I was driving the other day in Colorado and I went over a mountain, kind of, or not a mountain, but like a hill on the highway. And all of a sudden, there was this wide expanse of the most beautiful mountains I've ever seen. And in that moment, it took my breath away. And I thought, oh, you know, there's so much more than what my daily stress is. There's something bigger than me. I was here for a purpose. and I can always find something to be grateful for. We know that a grateful heart and a grateful mind shows up very differently in their world than someone that feels like there's just nothing to be grateful for. So getting grounded, maybe there's a devotional, maybe it's a reading the Bible, maybe it's just journaling. Whatever it is for you, it's essential piece of the puzzle. And then the second thing that I suggest is that you learn something new, something that gets you out of your daily thing and that gets your brain going in a new way. The active brain is the brain that stays the youngest. And so maybe it's a book. And, so many of us have like a pile of books by our nightstand that never get read. So, what is a book that you want to be reading? And even if you're reading one page of it, you are making progress. I usually suggest, depending on how long the chapters are, try to go for a chapter a day. Eventually, you're going to get through that book. And then the third thing, that is where time really matters, is we are time blocking. I always have my planner pad system where I have that day showing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll put them in the show notes. Our planner pad system, actually, if you get the planner pad system, it comes with a 2-week time management course with 2 weeks of 10-minute lessons, really showing you how to use the planner pads. But I take my to-do list, my 3 big rocks, I call it. And maybe it's less than 3, but it's no more than 3. What are the 3 things that I know come hell or high water? I got to get done these things today. Those 3 things I write down. And it's like, maybe when we talked about the important and urgent matrix, maybe you're living in the important and not urgent matrix. That's amazing. And if you can get those big rocks done and living in the important but not urgent matrix, that's incredible. But there will be some fires that come up during the day. There will be some things. Maybe there's some stuff that you have to work on that's important and urgent. Whatever that is, you're going to time block it into your day like it's an appointment for the dermatologist. Because I don't know if you've never had to go, if you've never gone to a dermatologist, you actually should go because you should get a body check every single year. But if you know how hard it is to get into a dermatologist, you don't cancel your annual checkups, because if you do, it's going to be a whole nother year before they give you another one, right? So you time block your stuff, your to-do list, your big rocks, the 3 things that you know you've got to do. And maybe again, it's 1 thing, maybe it's 2, but no more than 3. And you time block that into your day. And if you don't have enough time to do those things, well, then you can't do them. If you have too many other things in your schedule, you realize, well, I can't get this done today. And you're going to have to push it to the next day or another day. But it's actually freeing, because there's nothing worse than having this huge list that doesn't really have any true, like, in no world could you really get it all done in a day. But because it's just sitting there and you're not actually prioritizing, you're not time blocking in the things that you say you really need to do, then it just seems like the list gets bigger and bigger and you're never really crossing anything off, and it just feels heavy. And so I want I want you to feel success in every day, not one day when you get to a certain weight, or one day when you kind of get promoted at work. I want you to feel success every single day. And it's saying, okay, I wiped the bird poop off from the day before. I scheduled in the things that I know I needed to do. I did the things I needed to do. I got grounded in God and I learned something new. Like that, any of those things are wins and successes. And that's so powerful. Now, I take an hour for morning time. Like, it's that important to me that I will wake up absolutely an hour earlier than when I have to leave or when I have to be ready, so that I can do an hour long. I do 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes of devotion, 20 minutes of something new, and 20 minutes of time blocking. Now, if you don't have an hour, you can do all of that in 10 minutes. And if you have, like, normally, let's say you do a 30-minute, I think a 30-minute is a great one, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Let's say you have a 30-minute morning time routine, but you have a very, very busy day, or you're traveling, or you're out of routine, and you have just very little time. A lot of people think, oh, well, I don't have 30 minutes, so I do nothing. Nope, you still do something. Usually I say you do number one and number three. Number one, get grounded in gratitude. And number three, how are you going to spend your day? Just get a good sense of what that's going to look like. And so you can have a shortened morning time on those days that are going to be more chaotic. So you have a plan for morning time, you have a plan for a shortened morning time. And now all of this should be part of your ideal week. We talked about that a few sessions ago. And so you have every single day a set time for your morning time. You're wiping the bird poop off every day. Now, for those of you that like extra credit, that are like overachievers, I'll say this one last thing before I go around this concept of wiping the bird poop off. Maybe for you, it could make sense to wipe the bird poop off at night and then start the morning with a clean cushion. I love that idea. An evening routine is something that I would absolutely suggest. And it's the thing that I talk to my clients about once we get our morning routine pretty solidified. Have an evening routine where we're doing things that we know are going to promote sleep, but also are going to promote kind of clearing our brain from the bird poop of that day. And so you could be doing some of these like devotionals, journaling, getting yourself grounded. Maybe you're reading a book, getting off social media. Maybe you're taking a bath. I love magnesium salts and soaking my feet in magnesium salts, and I do that a couple nights a week. So what is your evening routine that's going to help kind of like wipe the day away, and then you start your morning time? People have said to me, "Can I do my morning time at night?" I mean, you do you. You get to be your own person. I know some of my clients that maybe have to leave the house by 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, I just don't think I can do a morning time earlier than that. I think that's totally acceptable for you to say, I'm going to do it at night. But for most of us, it's really around the fact that we actually have higher dopamine and more energy. We usually have clearer brains. It's like our cell phone has been charged in the morning. And at night, we have higher melatonin, which makes us naturally less aware, less alert, and it's a little bit harder for us to just be as intentional that next day if we don't set it up in the morning. But you can test it and see how it works best for you. So I hope that you really feel like you've seen the progression of what we've done in this series, helping you to understand time, to respect time, and to be given the strategies around, okay, how am I spending my time, my 168 hours, the ideal week, how I prioritize things, the time funnel, and then how we show up consistently, what Sundays looks like, and what every single day looks like. Imagine if you could just wipe the bird poop off every day, start fresh with intention. How much could you accomplish in this one precious life that you've been given? I would love for you to be able to put some comments down. Go to our Diet Disruptor Squad Facebook group and share with us what you're learning there. Follow me on Instagram and leave a comment or message me on what you took away from the series. And please, 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 if you have really nice things to say about our podcast, I would be so appreciative if you went over there and left a review for how you feel like the series was and how the podcast is serving you. And, to me, being able to really truly control time means you're just going to control an aspect, not just one aspect of your life, but every aspect of your life. You show up differently for your family, for yourself, for your friends, and really truly get to start to serve your purpose. Well, thank you for this. Thank you for this series. Thank you for listening if you've stuck around this whole time. And I can't wait to unveil what our next series is going to be. It's a good one I haven't done before. See you soon.